Hypothesis testing is one of the most important inferential methods in frequentist statistics. Although different types of hypothesis tests are used for different research questions, they all follow the same general logic and procedure. The first step in hypothesis testing is to specify the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. These hypotheses are statements about population parameters. In most cases, researchers aim to find evidence supporting the alternative hypothesis, although in some situations, they may wish to retain the null hypothesis. The second step is to choose an appropriate test statistic. Common test statistics include the t-statistic, f-statistic, and chi-square statistic. The third step is to determine the sampling distribution of the test statistic under the assumption that the null hypothesis is true. These sampling distributions are derived from statistical results such as the central limit theorem. The fourth step is to compute the observed value of the test statistic using the sample data. The fifth step is to calculate the p-value by comparing the observed test statistic to its sampling distribution under the null hypothesis. The p-value can be interpreted as evidence against the null hypothesis. The smaller the p-value, the stronger the evidence against the null hypothesis. This leads to an important question: how much evidence against the null hypothesis is sufficient to favor the alternative hypothesis? This question is addressed in the sixth step, where the p-value is compared with a chosen significance level, denoted by alpha. This level is typically set at 0.05. If the p-value is smaller than 0.05, the null hypothesis is rejected. Otherwise, the null hypothesis is retained. Finally, in the seventh step, if the null hypothesis is rejected, we conclude that there is sufficient evidence to support the alternative hypothesis. If the null hypothesis is not rejected, we conclude that there is insufficient evidence to support the alternative hypothesis. It is crucial to use precise language. Conclusions should state whether there is evidence for the alternative hypothesis, not whether any hypothesis has been proven.